everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you guys are new here. My name is Frida. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so freaking excited for today's video because I created this look right here using all e.l.f. products. I placed a big order on e.l.f.'s website and my order came and I just couldn't wait to play with these goodies because I've heard so much about them and I just wanted to do a full face of e.l.f. I've never done anything like this before. A lot of these products are new to my collection, although they may not be new in general in the makeup world, they are new to me. So I was really excited to just kind of dive in, especially to these bite-sized palettes because you guys have told me all about these and we all have seen them here on YouTube, so I decided to see what the hype was about. So if you guys are interested on seeing how I got this look and watching me play with all these e.l.f. makeup products, then let's go ahead and get started in today's video. And while you guys are watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and join my YouTube family. Now that we are all in quarantine, I have been posting a lot more than what I usually do. I went from like 1 upload a week to like 5 uploads a week. So we are getting through this one video at a time. I hope you guys are all staying safe and staying healthy. I'm definitely practicing my social distancing here in my makeup room. So let's go ahead and jump into today's video. The first product that we're gonna try out today is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. I have heard all about the putty primers from e.l.f., but I think they just recently came out with this Luminous one, and I figured since my skin is very dry that this would be the perfect product to try, and I do really like a dewy face. I'm just gonna get some on the back of my nail, just like a little tiny bit, and see what I can do. Ooh, this actually feels really good. And it smells good too. I have never tried the original putty primer, so I can't really compare it to this one. All I can say is that my skin doesn't really look that glowy. It's just, I don't know, it was really creamy, it was really nice consistency. I definitely like the way that this primer feels, and I'm curious to see how it looks underneath the foundation. I've never tried the e.l.f. foundation, but this is the e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation, and I got this in the shade 2020 Beige. I don't really know how well this shade is going to match, and I hope it's not too light or too dark. I heard some like things about this foundation. I've heard some people say that it's really good, and some people say that it's, wow, it's pretty thick. And some people say that it's not. Oh wow, that's not too bad. It's definitely a little light. I could have gone with a little bit darker of a shade, but we can always bronze it up. I was just worried about it being like way too dark. So obviously the shade is a little bit light, but the foundation itself doesn't look bad at all. It has pretty good coverage. I would definitely say it is very medium coverage, but I'm gonna try and build it up a little bit just right there where I have a little bit of discoloration from the breakouts I had last week. So I'm just gonna put just a little bit more, just see how it builds up. I definitely like the finish of the foundation and the coverage is pretty good. And the primer underneath it definitely makes my pores like a lot smaller. And my skin just looks a lot smoother. I don't know if it's because of the foundation or the primer, but overall it looks really, really good. I just need to add some color to my skin because it is very, very light for me, but that's okay because I can kind of bronze it up with some bronzer. I'm gonna use 2 different e.l.f. concealers today only because of the shade difference. I normally would just use the hydrating camo concealer. I've talked about this in the last like 4 videos, so I'm sorry that I keep bringing it up, but if you guys are new, obviously these are different shades, but they're both shades light. This is light beige and this is light peach. So they're obviously very, very different. I didn't know that when I picked them up a couple weeks ago. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the light peach and just put a little tiny bit right there. And right there. And then I just like to take this shade everywhere else. This is like the same shade as my foundation right now, so I just like to mix the 2 shades together so it's not like too light, but this one is definitely too dark. to highlight with. If you're someone who likes it a little bit more dewy, I would go for this, but if you're looking for more of like a Tarte Shape Tape consistency, I would go with that one. But I mean, just to get the two of them together is only $12 and you get 2 concealers, so definitely not a bad deal. Obviously ignoring the fact that it is too light for me, this foundation, concealer, and primer looks amazing right now. It's definitely really nice coverage, and anything that the foundation didn't cover, the concealer definitely does the job. So I love how that's looking. And now I'm going to try the e.l.f. HD powder. I don't know if they have different shades of this, but this is Soft Luminous. If there is a shade, that's just what the back of the packaging says. So we're gonna try this out and see on the lid. The cool thing about this powder is that you can like flip, you can like turn this. So that way the powder doesn't just like go everywhere, you know? That's really cool. I like that about the packaging. I'm actually gonna use a lot of e.l.f. brushes in today's video too. So this is the e.l.f. highlighting brush. This is like a perfect brush for underneath the eyes. I use this on a lot of my clients, like the e.l.f. brushes. They're really, really good quality. And they work amazing, especially the eye brushes. So I'm just gonna put this on there. All right, so I'm not like a huge fan of how it's making my under eyes look. Just because I feel like it looks really, really, oh my gosh, you guys can see, I feel like it looks really, really dry under there now, which I'm not like the biggest fan of. So I'm just gonna quickly kind of set everything into place with this, hopefully. Oh God, I don't know. I feel like that made my under eyes look really, really old. I don't know if you guys can see in the video. I feel like you can. And I definitely need to warm up the skin. So this is not new to my collection. This is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer. This is in the shade Forever Sunkissed. I love this bronzer. I think it works extremely well for how inexpensive it is. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that. And this is an e.l.f. blush brush, but I'm just gonna use it for bronzer too. I definitely feel a lot better now that my face isn't as pale and it's a little bit more warmed up thanks to this bronzer right here. The one thing I will say about this bronzer is it takes a little bit more effort to blend out than any other bronzer that I've really used from the drugstore, but this one is also the cheapest one that I've used from the drugstore, so that is one thing. It's kind of like you get what you pay for. So this is $6 versus the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. That one's I think like $12 to $14 depending where you get it. So this is half the price, but you have to put in a little bit more effort. But nonetheless, it is still a very beautiful bronzer. So just wanted to mention that if you guys are in the market for something a little bit more affordable, just a little warning. I hate that it keeps going cool toned and warm toned, but it is super windy outside, so the clouds are going over the sun like every other minute. So I apologize for that, but we're just gonna move right along. I'm gonna use an e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush. I also have this in my collection already, and this is in the shade Always Rosy. I love this blush. I think it's absolutely stunning. It is very, very, very pigmented. So just be really careful if you guys do end up purchasing this blush. It'll probably last you years and years and years because it is incredibly pigmented. I'm just going to use that same blush brush that we were using for the bronzer, just because it's from e.l.f. as well. So this next product is new to my collection. I've never used it before, but this is the e.l.f. Metallic Flare Highlighter in the shade White Gold. It looks absolutely stunning, and I've heard some people say that they really like this highlight. The one thing I have heard as well though is that you do have to build it up if you want a little bit more of a blinding highlight, but if you want more of a subtle one, it is perfect for that as well. So I typically like those highlighters just because sometimes I don't like the really strong highlight on my cheekbones. I like it more to just kind of melt into the skin and look like it's a glow from within, just a little bit more enhanced. I don't have another e.l.f. face brush to use for this highlight, so I'm just gonna use this Real Techniques setting brush. It looks pretty similar to my Sigma highlighting brush, so I'm just gonna swirl it around and see kind of what we're working with. Okay, yeah, it's definitely very, very subtle, but I'm going to just kind of build it up and see what we're working with. This is a shade that I would definitely steer away from if I was any tanner because it is a little bit more like white toned. Obviously it's called white gold, but you guys can see it looks really good with my skin tone right now, but I think if I was any tanner it would not work. So just keep in mind when you are looking for a highlighter. So the one product that I don't have from e.l.f. is a brow mascara that was supposed to come in my Ulta order, and my Ulta order isn't coming for another few days. So I'm just gonna use this Essence Make Me Brow because it is still like $3 from Ulta. So this is in the shade Browny Brows, and I felt like I definitely should just use the most inexpensive brow product that I have, and I actually really enjoy this brow product, so figured it would be perfect price point considering all of e.l.f. stuff is like well under $10. Now that I finished just quickly doing the brows and moving on to the eyes, I was really excited to get these palettes. These are the bite-size eyeshadow palettes, so I got Cream and Sugar. Then I also got Rose Water. And then the other one that I got is Pumpkin Pie. So I was super excited to get these because I had a ton of you guys tell me about them, but I've also just seen them all around YouTube as well. I'll probably hold off on this Rose Water one and probably use it for a different tutorial, but I'm going to kind of mix these two right here, the Cream and Sugar and the Pumpkin Pie one, because these look really beautiful. So I'm taking this shade right here in the Pumpkin Pie palette, and the brush that I am using is an e.l.f. blending brush, so I'm going to use that for my crease. Just pop that in there. Wow, that blended out really nice. And I wanted to bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing, but look how nicely that shade blended out. These palettes are $3 a piece, which is insanely cheap. I can't get over that. That's why I got 3 of them. Wow, that is a really beautiful shade. The next shade I'm taking in this Pumpkin Pie palette is this one right here. And I'm actually going to take that on a different brush. This is a little bit more tapered. And this is an e.l.f. tapered blending brush. So I'm going to bring that into... This brush right here is one of my favorite blending brushes to use. And I think it's like $3 or something. It is definitely like one of the best blending brushes out there. And like you guys can see just how nicely it blended in there. There's no patchiness. And wow, these eyeshadows are definitely worth the hype. I'm gonna go back into the Cream and Sugar palette and use the darkest shade in this palette now and take it on that same tapered blending brush. I'm gonna focus that shade on the outer corner right here. I'm gonna take this shade again right here with the biggest blending brush that we have and just go around everything to soften it all up, blend it all out. I'm gonna go back in with this shade now and use a flat eyeliner brush from e.l.f. as well. And just take it down under here just to kind of tie in the darkness on top. Take whatever's left on that big fluffy blending brush that we originally used for that shade. Just take whatever's left over and lightly go over just to soften it up down there. Shadow. I have this brush called the e.l.f. Eyeshadow C brush. I'm not really sure what that means, but it's just a little flat tapered brush. And I'm going to take this shade right here from the Pumpkin Pie palette and place that all over. That shade looks absolutely stunning. Like, what? Oh. How is this drugstore? How is this $3? This can't be legal. e.l.f., what are you doing? This is like not legal. This is insane. You guys can see down here, it does have quite a bit of fallout. So I'm just like really lightly brushing it away. All right, I don't like how much fallout that has, but for a $3 palette, I will take it. I'm gonna highlight the inner corner and the brow bone with this shade right here inside of the Cream and Sugar palette. And I just have an e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush. So I'm gonna take some of that. Well, that's stunning too. And what took me so long to try these eyeshadow palettes is that they're literally sold out everywhere. And now I know why. For a good freaking reason. That's all I'm gonna say. I have some of my favorite lashes from e.l.f. These are the Winged and Bold from their Luxe Lash Kit. I actually absolutely love these lashes. I've used them in my tutorials before, so I'm just going to quickly pop these on and then we'll come back and do the lips. So the lashes are on, I'm just waiting for them to dry, and I got two different lipsticks from e.l.f. I've never used these before. This is their Seriously Satin, and I think both of these would work really well with this look. This one right here is really pretty, but as always, I think I'm going to do the nude. I don't know why, but this is the shade Nectar right here. It looks really, really beautiful. And the other shade that I got is called Creme. So it's like a very pale kind of nudie color. So I don't know, I'm really curious to see, since this was like, I think like $3 or something, I'm curious to see if it works really well. I don't have a lip liner from e.l.f., so I'm just gonna use this one because it is $3 from LA Girl Ultimate Intense Stay Auto Liner in the shade Nonstop Nude. I figured find things that are in the same price point. Ooh, I love this color. This is like right up my alley. Oh lordy, what happened here? Oh my god, you guys, what the heck? What is on the back of... Has that been there the whole time? Ooh, this is really, really creamy too. This formula is like incredibly creamy, and this shade is so beautiful. This might be my new favorite nude. And it's $3, like. I am so impressed right now because this is all e.l.f. Like, e.l.f. 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 How is this e.l.f. makeup? I do not... I don't understand. You guys, I did pretty dang good today, if I do say so myself, using almost all e.l.f. products, including brushes, except for this one. Like, So I'm gonna quickly kind of go through everything and do like a speed review. I really love the way that this Luminous Putty Primer makes my skin look so smooth. I think it just looks really, really nice, especially around my pores and in this area right here. The foundation is okay. I'm not sure as far as like lasting power goes. I could probably do a wear test if you guys wanted me to a different day, but I mean, the coverage is pretty good, and for like a $5 or $6 foundation, it looks fine on the skin. I definitely don't think it looks like the best foundation that I have, but for what it is, I think it looks okay. I would give it like a 4 out of 5. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just not, you know, my favorite. As you guys know, I do love the concealer, and I think this concealer with the foundation looks fantastic together. The only thing I really didn't like was this HD powder. I felt like it really kind of dried. My skin looked really dry and just kind of powdery, so I wasn't like a huge fan of this. Definitely not like my favorite product. This, as you guys know, I do like this bronzer for the price, and then this blush is a beautiful blush. Both of these products last really long on the skin, as I had them for a couple months and have used them, so I know those pretty well. This highlight right here, it's okay. I definitely don't think it's like the best highlighter I've used, but it is not the worst by any means. It just, the shade was a little off with how tan I am. I'm not even that tan, but with this tan that I have going on, this was just a little bit too light, and I felt like the highlighter just kind of like disappeared. I mean, it's not like gone, but it's definitely not as impactful as it was before. But these eyeshadow palettes, you guys, like, I cannot get over these eyeshadow palettes. I love them. I'm gonna use them like every day. And this lip, love the lip. Lip looks fantastic. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's makeup tutorial using all e.l.f. products. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching me play with all this new e.l.f. makeup. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you guys stay safe wherever you are. And I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye guys.